Lovely family, another beautiful episode. I don't know if I should tell you that the East is shaking the West or the West is shaking the East. But family, trust me, there is a shaking going on. You see, the West is so worried, especially the United States is so worried about gathering of people. I don't know the reason why the West, especially the United States, is always worried about any gathering that include world leaders. Excluding them, they are never happy about that. And that too, when it happened in regards to the East countries, when you talk about China, Russia, and co. As I'm speaking to you right now, lovely people, the whole world, we are caught up in two dimensions, war and peace. When you check China, you can see that China is always calling for peace. I'm going to play some videos. I'll play a video from the chief of NATO. I'll play a video from Xi Jinping. You are going to hear what she's saying. I'll play one video from Donald Trump. You will see that there is a call for peace from one angle, and another angle, they are afraid of everybody, and everybody is a threat to them. And when there is any gathering, the United States is not involved in that gathering. They are always worried about that. They always see those gatherings as a threat. The lovely family, what is happening? History is rewriting. The world is moving from the Western dominance to a multipolar world where power is shared. The world is calling for peace. The world is calling for equality. But I think some people are not so happy about this particular cause. Lovely family, something historic just happened in China. Over 20 world leaders, including Putin of Russia, Modi of India, Erdogan of Turkey, Kim Jong-un, you know that name, right? Kim Jong-un of North Korea, and many others gathered in China for a powerful meeting and a massive military parade. The meeting lasted from 31st August to 1st September, and on the 3rd September, there was a huge military parade. And that is where the United States is not happy about. It was just a parade in regards to China, Russia, and co. But the United States, that is a threat. My goodness.
When they did what they did, I thought it was a beautiful ceremony. I thought it was very, very impressive. But I understood the reason they were doing it, and they were hoping I was watching, and I was watching. My relationship with all of them is very good. We're going to find out how good it is over the next week or two. I think that we helped China very much, as you know, when they talk about freedom. And I don't believe that, and maybe I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't believe that America, that the United States was acknowledged for helping China to gain its freedom. But perhaps that was just that was a sleight of hand. I mean, I was very surprised. I watched the speech last night. President Xi's a friend of mine. But I thought that the United States should have been mentioned last night during that speech because we helped China very, very much.
Very, very interesting. Before we talk about how the West is panicking, let me tell you the big meeting that happened. And then you will understand that if the things that were discussed at the summit or this meeting, which I'm going to pull out, if these things are actually implemented, lovely people, the World Bank is going to lose its influence. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, is going to lose its influence. And the West in general, especially the United States, is going to lose its influence. And so when they look at this as a threat, I understand them. You can't blame them. Their interest is at risk. Let's talk about the meeting. This meeting, lovely people, this wasn't just an international summit. It was a clear message to the world that China wants to reshape global power. And China is not doing it alone. The meeting actually proves that. What happened at this meeting matters to you and I. Let's get right into it. I'll show you why. The leaders went to China, met in the Chinese city of Tianjin. Hey. The name. Anyway, let's take it like that. Tianjin, that's the name right there. So it's on your screen. So Tianjin, for something they call Shanghai Cooperation Organization, abbreviated SCO. For clear understanding, think of the SCO like a giant club of countries. But instead of hanging out, these people meet to talk business, security, and how to stand strong together against pressure from whoever, especially the West, the United States in particular. At this summit, lovely people, China's President Xi Jinping made a bold call not for war, but a call for peace. He said, the world as we see today needs a new system, a system that favors the global south. And when we are talking about the global south, we are talking about developing countries like those in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. So instead of always letting the West set the rules, we need a multipolar world. That is what China is calling for. So what exactly was discussed at the meeting? First, Xi Jinping announced a plan for new development bank. So countries in the SCO don't always have to depend on the World Bank or IMF, which are controlled mostly by the West. Number two, he also pushed for AI technology cooperation, renewable energy project, and even he invited countries to join China's moon exploration program. The United States is not happy about that also. I mean, they have problem with everything. You can blame them. And the third aspect is where China is trying to fill the loopholes that people are complaining about. China promised billions in loans and aid to help members of this group grow their economy. So in short, China is telling these countries that stick with us. We will build our own system and we don't need the West. You know, one thing about China you need to understand. When they are coming into a system, they want to take over a market. What they do is that they look at the weak points of the market and then try to solve problems that people are complaining about. They try to fill the gaps that people are complaining about. You know, we are complaining about how the World Bank and the IMF is treating us. The whole world is complaining about them because their rules are not clear and the double standard here and there. So China is trying to provide an alternative. I'm going to tell you more about that, but this is where things get a little bit dramatic. Just days after this summit, Beijing, China, held a huge military parade to mark the 80th anniversary of the end of the World War II. The most shocking part of it, which people are not happy about, some people are not happy about, is the walking side by side at the front of the parade where Xi Jinping of China, Vladimir Putin of Russia, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, walking side by side. They were there. So imagine that. Three of the most powerful, branded as most controversial leaders in the world standing together in unity. This image alone sent a message that we are not isolated. We are together and we are ready to challenge the world war order. For Kim Jong-un of North Korea, this was his first trip to China in years, and he even brought his daughter. You know, fine baby, nice daughter. What this means for Putin is that Russia still has strong friends despite sanctions from the West. And for Xi Jinping, this was a perfect show of China's strength because it shook the whole world. The West is complaining, parroting, they are talking. Everywhere they are talking, they are complaining. And this has been the trend. They are not always comfortable with people coming together without them involved. But this is it. Why should you and I, our ordinary people, care about this? Here is the truth, lovely people. What is happening in China or what will happen in China is going to affect all of us. Number one, a new power bloc is forming. China, Russia, India, North Korea, and others are creating an alliance that could rival the US and Europe. This means there's going to be more competition in the system, not just in politics, but in technology, energy, and even military power. So you and I, we should be concerned. Number two, economic aspect. China promised billions in loans and aid. What this means is that if countries start using China's money instead of the West, this is going to weaken the IMF, the World Bank, and this is going to affect you and I, either positive or negative, because anytime our leaders go to IMF and take money from them, we feel the heat. Prices of food go up, our currency devaluate. A whole lot happen in the line of taking loan from IMF. We bear the burden. So if China is providing an alternative, it is going to affect you and I negatively or positively. So we must care. Another one is the energy and the trade aspect, lovely people. China and Russia have signed new energy deals, and China is pushing a new green energy corridor with Central Asia. I spoke about that in one of my videos. Okay, go and check it, it's there. And if this happens, this is going to shift where the world gets its fuel and electricity from. The other aspect is the geopolitical tension. The West, especially the United States, is very alarmed. President Trump, that's my boss. You know, I like him so much because he has a tough attitude that a leader should have. You can have a tough attitude, but it depends how you use it. So for his toughness, I love him for that. I just like him for that. Personally. According to Donald Trump, he said this gathering is a conspiracy. But how? People gather, they do not discuss war. They talk about, peace, energy, and and you are threatening. This is a conspiracy. They are coming after us. I don't know why the United States is always afraid of people. Now, they are afraid. The reason why they are afraid, and I always say that you can't blame them, is because for the first time, lovely people, countries seen as an enemy of the United States, they are now openly standing together, not afraid. That is sending something. And this is part of the reason why the NATO chief have this to say. Listen to this.
We are aggressively being challenged. Russia and China are expanding their militaries and their capabilities at speed and scale with little transparency. Their defense industries are producing weapons and have military equipment at an incredible rate. Not just to show off at big parades in Moscow and Beijing, but to secure spheres of influence, project power, and undermine the rules-based international order. This year alone, Russia is expected to roll out at least 1,500 tanks, 3,000 armored vehicles, and hundreds of Iskander missiles. As for China, it already has the world's largest navy and some of the largest defense companies in the world. Their military build-up points in a clear direction. They are preparing for long-term confrontation and competition with us.
You heard that? To them, this is the competition against us. You see, this is the reason why the world is turning away from the United States, I think. Because when people are seeing peace, they are seeing threat. When people want to come together, they are not okay with it. They have a problem with, last time also, as China is talking about connecting more of its road and advancing in technology, AI and things, the whole world is running towards, how to build their economy, how to develop and all that. The United States, the President Donald Trump, went ahead, and the best he's thinking about is renaming the Defense Department as Department of War. So this World War thing, people are tired of this. So the world is calling for peace. So the whole world is running towards the direction of peace, where we can have a shared common goal, common future. Everybody will have a say. We can sit at one table as one family. That is what China have been calling for all the time. But when we check the United States, my people, I don't know what is wrong with my people. They are always on the, worry aspect. They are worried about this. They are worried about that. They are afraid of this. This is a threat to them. What's up, man? Anyway, this is the bigger picture, lovely people. This meeting is bigger than just a meeting. It is about whether the world will stay under Western dominance or shift into a multipolar world where power is shared among several big players like China, Russia, India, maybe even Africa, if only we unite. For the ordinary people in Africa, why this concerns us is this could mean changes in prices, technology, and even jobs, because global power struggles always affect trade and resources. So what happened in China wasn't just a meeting, it was a declaration that the world is changing, alliances are shifting, and a new balance of power is rising. One thing you have to understand is that from the beginning of the world, kingdoms have come, powers have come, and power have been moving from one hand to another, So you can even trace it from the Babylonian area to Persia, Rome, and then, today, you can trace it. Power always move from one place to another, So we have gotten to the level where power is shifting again, but this time is hanging. Africa can take it. The East can take it, and it can remain with the West, or we all can share it. That is where we are right now. It is a decision time.